Hello and welcome to my update for February. It's actually the 1st of March today, and this is the third time I think I've tried to do this video. The first time it was too long, so I couldn't actually get it to download from my device onto my computer. So I resigned myself to deleting it and redoing it, and for some reason my device this evening is just cutting out after about 15 minutes. So I'm going to see if I can get this done in under 15 minutes because it's just after 10 o'clock now and I'm ready for bed. So I last did an update on the 15th of January, and I remember, for those of you who didn't watch, I set myself a challenge actually on Christmas Day, and that was rather than plan some new starts for the new year, I would instead try and get some finishes in. As I've got quite a lot of projects on the go, but I also have lots of things that I'd like to start, and I just felt like I needed to have a little bit of completion with some of my projects, or at least feel like I was getting somewhere a bit more of significance with some of my projects, because I don't have a huge amount of time to stitch. And it just felt like I had much more that I wanted to do than I did have time available. I mean, I think that's probably still true, but at least I've got a few more finishes under my belt to feel a little bit more, in control of the situation. And in general, I'm not really one who aims for the finished project. And it doesn't mean that I don't like it, because I actually really like the fact that some of these are finished. It's, I just try and enjoy the process rather than have that pressure on myself to feel that I've got to get things done, because actually as soon as I put pressure on myself, or whatever, I lose interest in it, or I make really silly mistakes. So anyway, my challenge to myself was to see if I could finish somewhere between 7 and 10 projects by the end of February, and I think I've got 8 that I'm counting, so I thought I would share those with you this evening. So the first one you can see, this was almost completed last time I showed it. I just had a couple of additions to make, but this is October in the Country Cottage Needlework series, Cottage of the Month series that they did. I think probably 2 or 3 years ago these were released. All of these I've stitched, they're on the recommended linen, and they're all using the recommended threads as well. And this one shows up quite nicely, the variegation in the orange here. You can see it in the pumpkins at the bottom and the leaves, and across the top in the October. So I finished everything that I needed to do on this one. And once I finished October, I went straight ahead and I stitched the November cottage as well, which you can see here again. It's probably not showing completely true to life, because obviously I'm filming this at night now, whereas when I recorded on Sunday it was daylight, so the colours were showing a little bit better, but you can get an idea of it. And again, you can still see the variegation, certainly in the green that I've used for the cottage. There is a bit of variegation in this red as well, but I'm not sure. Maybe you can see it in the V that it's slightly brighter there, and at the tail end of the N and of the M and the B. So that's the November cottage. I apologise, I haven't got the actual patterns to show, because I'd recorded this once. I'd then tidied everything away, and I'm afraid I wasn't. I don't have time to pull it all out again midweek. So I'll just have to talk you through all of these. So that was October and November, and just to finish the series I went ahead and then also did the December cottage. And so again, yes, this is all the variegated threads as recommended. So you can see the green here with the variegation, and you can also see in the grey here that's used in the roof. I believe I have one more of these to do, which is the the June, I think it is. So there's one that I haven't done of the summer patterns, and that's because I was going to make some small changes to it. So I made the changes to the July, but I haven't gone back and done the June one. So that's something that I will get round to, hopefully either in or before June of this year. And my plan is to make all of these up into little cushions. So I have got, I think it's February is the only one at the moment that I've got stitched up. So I will go out and I'll have to find some bits of fabric to match them all up and get those done. That will be a good afternoon sewing. I do in addition need to put some beads on here, because this should have some French knots on here for berries on the wreath, but I just can't I'm lousy at doing French knots, so where I can I substitute with beads. So I'll wait until I'm ready to actually stitch them up, because I'll give it a really good press as well, and then sew it into the cushion. And I won't do that, and I won't put the beads on until I'm at that point. And I won't be washing these because they are using those variegated threads, and especially one that's got this kind of red in. I wouldn't like to think what that would look like. So that's another 3 finishes that I've got there, so that they're all done. Another one that was almost at completion last time you saw it was this one, which is The Way to Happiness. So if I just pull out, and you can hopefully see, I don't think I can get it all in unless I go right the way back. Yeah, so this is called The Way to Happiness. It's available on the Jardin Privé website as a freebie, and this is stitched on an antique white linen, and it's all done in the recommended threads, and the threads used for this are Nina's threads. So this is the first project I've stitched using her fibres, and it won't be the last, because I absolutely loved all of the colours that I used in here. So I think you can see the variegation really easy. But it's a beautiful pattern, and they're beautiful threads. So it was really lovely to actually stitch with this. So since you last saw it, I've just added in lots of the back stitching detail that you can see. Kind of these little bits of detail, and I had to finish off my lady up here, so she's now got skin, and the umbrella's completed as well. On the original pattern there is a name stitched across the bottom here, but I just wanted to check that that is the person that this quote is attributed to. I'm presuming that's why they've got their name there, but I want to check before I actually stitch it, because if it's not, I might choose to put my initials in the year of completion here. Or if not, I'll find somewhere else in the pattern to add those in. But I'm really pleased with how this has come out. It's absolutely beautiful. So that's another finish I've got done. I reach across. So another pattern that was kind of, I don't know, 3/4 done, I guess, last time you saw it. Just straighten it all out, is my Belen Boo pattern. So this originally appeared in an edition of the Cross Stitcher magazine. So it's called Belen Boo and Pieces of Autumn. I think this might have been the first Belen Boo pattern that was released. And so since you've last seen it, I've added in all the back stitching. I'd had to take off the bunny, not take off the bunny head, that sounds wrong. I'd had to unpick it because I'd gone wrong somewhere around here, and because I didn't know where I'd gone wrong, I was really struggling to fudge it. So yeah, so I had to redo all of that, and then just add in the leaves and, you know, bits, finishing details on the scarf and the glove as well. And actually I'm really pleased with how she's come out, because I really loved her when I first saw her, but then I wasn't sure how I felt about her when I was stitching her up. But now that she's done, and you know, I'm looking at her, I think she's actually come out really well. So I'm very pleased with her. And this was just, I think this is an even weave fabric. It's a light blue colour, and it was just something that I had in my stash again, because it's quite a large pattern. I just picked out a kind of bit of scrap fabric to use it on, and I think ideally she would suit being made into a cushion, but I don't really have a place to put her, so at the moment she's probably just going to be rolled up and stored somewhere safe until I can think of something to do with her. But I do really like this pattern. So that's Belen Boo. What else have I got? Don't think on this video I've shown this one. I get confused about what I've done and what I haven't done, but this is a Bothy Threads kit called Deck Chairs, and I've got all of, I think, 3 of the 4 of this series. I originally started the pattern as part of Stitch Mania, and when you last saw it, I had done some of these houses across here, and I just started doing some of the green background fill in. Now I haven't finished this because it's actually a fairly large project, but what I did do is I got a page finish on this, so I'm kind of counting it as a finish because there's fairly significant progress on it. So as you can see, I've added in all this bottom bit here. You can see where the page finishes are, and again I'd forgotten how much I love this project because it's really quite bright and cheerful. and a bit of a contrast to some of the other stuff that I've been working on, because they're all very autumnal colours, and this is a nice bright summer piece. But also because it's on an Aida as opposed to a linen, which most of my other projects are, I just found it really easy to stitch on, because the holes are obviously much bigger and easier to see. So when I'm stitching in the evening after work, this is definitely one of those projects that seems to go a little bit quicker. So I'm probably going to keep this one out and work on this for a little while now, and I'm going to see if I can get how much of this kind of top section I can get done as well. So because I would quite like to get this one done, because I'd like to frame it, and I think I've found a spot where I'd like to put it on the landing in my house. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that one. So that's another one. The next project I'm going to show you, you won't have seen unless you follow me on Instagram. And this wasn't part of my original plan of what I was working on, but I saw this and I bought it for several reasons. One, because, you know, my mum loves ducks, and I thought this would make a really good little present for her. But also, I'd never stitched on paper before, and I've also never really done any significant beading either. So I thought this would be a really good chance or opportunity to try it out and see how I got on with beading, because I was a little bit worried, especially seeing as I've got quite a few Nora Corbett or Mirabilias in my stash. And as you can see, I actually got on pretty well. So here is my little mallard. So all stitched, all beaded up, the little charm added, and I've even backed it with a coordinating green felt. The only thing I've got left to do is to stick the magnet on the back there, because this is a little magnet piece. So yeah, and that's partly why I'm recording this quite late. I have to say, if the video dies on me this time, I will probably just stop, because yeah, it's 10:20, so it's pretty much past my bedtime now. But I want to get this, I need to get that magnet stuck on before I go to bed and put it in an envelope, so this is ready to take to the post office and send off to my mum, because in the UK it's Mothering Sunday this coming Sunday, so I need to make sure that it gets to her and it's ready there for her for Sunday, because I won't actually be seeing her. Yeah, so I was really pleased with this and I really enjoyed it, and I know without a doubt this will not be my last Mill Hill kit. I think I could become quite addicted to these actually, so yeah, did really enjoy these. I've been eyeing up the owls there's a little owl series that have been released, and I've been eyeing those up and I'm quite tempted, but I'm going to see if I can get a few more finished before I start spending any more money. So yeah, that's my little mallard. Another project that I've been working on comes from the Helen Phillips cross stitch garden notebook, and this is the potting shed. Now this one I thought I might have got finished. This is the pattern, just as a reminder. I'll just lift it so you don't get the glare too badly. Oops, can't quite get it all in. There you go. Just a few frustrations with this, and while I'm on this page I can show you. I forgot that this was a button and that this was a button on the pattern. Sorry about the awful glare, but hey ho, can't be helped. And it's actually, both of these were charted on the pattern, so as you can see, she says, as you can see, and you can't, I stitched them because they were charted, and I'd forgotten. A bit of a complete numpty really, aren't I? I forgot that I'd bought the buttons for them, and that was what I was planning to do, so I was just busy happily stitching away and added them both in. But that was kind of my first mistake with this project. The second one was I was stitching the watering can down here, and I thought, oh, you know, while I've got this colour, I'll add in all of these grey in over here, and it was only afterwards that I realised that actually that's the wrong shade. It should be the shade darker. Hey ho. And then I also, these two shelves up here should be the same colour, so this is the right colour and this is the wrong colour. I think at this point I just decided it's probably time to step away from this one for a little while. So yeah, this didn't become a finish. I thought, nope, I'm going to fold you away, and you can go and sit and think about what you've done for a while. And it might get picked up next month, or it depends if I get over my sulk or not. We shall see. I'm very mature, I know. So that's my potting shed. So he wasn't actually a finish. So that is all of the finishes that I have so far. Just another thing that I've been working on. I know that I've shown this one before. What I wanted to do, I wanted to cheer myself up after that. So I actually pulled out my sunflower Sunflower Fairy, which is a Nora Corbett pattern, and this is available on instant download from Hirschners.com. I think originally it was in one of the magazines. So I had started this. So last time you've seen it, I'd done this skirt and the bodice of my fairy, and she's coming along quite well now actually. So as you can see, I've added in some more of the petals. I've added in this big, I don't know, branch, or anyway, whatever this decorative swirl is called here, I've added in. And I've also started stitching. This is a light blue Krennic that I've been using on her wings here. This isn't the recommended fabric. This is a Jodrell Designs fabric of the month that I chose because it's got the oranges and the greens in. And I thought that would work quite well with the oranges and the greens that are in the design. And again, it is stitched using the recommended threads, and the ones that are recommended for this are Valdini threads. Now, just a note, or I shall share my learning with anyone else who might be planning to do this. There is a thread called, I believe, Chocolate Brownie. So I bought all of the threads without checking the pattern, but now having looked at it as stitching, you can see there's some orange colour down here, and that is because I used this thread instead, because those 11, how many? I think there's 8 stitches here, and there should be another 3 stitches here, and those are the only ones that use that thread, which to me is completely ridiculous, and I'm a little bit irritated that I didn't check that before I bought all of the supplies for it, because if I'd known, I would have just substituted it straight away. So as it is, I didn't actually use it. I just thought, I'm just going to stick in a different colour, because I'm sure by the time it's all done, I won't know that it's not quite the one that it's supposed to do. So yeah, so just, there's just a FYI in case you are thinking that you would be stitching this and choosing the original to use the recommended fibres. But yeah, she's coming along nicely, and actually she's a really enjoyable stitch as well. So I might do some more work on her. I haven't really thought about what I'm doing in the month ahead. I'm not really much of a planner. I tend to just pick up and stitch on something I fancy. So she may appear again. But yeah, I'm pleased with how she's coming along. So I'm going to continue with just kind of stitching things that I've already got going, seeing again if they're, I did achieve my initial target of getting, I think that was 8 that I managed to finish since I decided at Christmas until the end of February. So I'm quite pleased that I met my target. You'll be pleased to know